Do you keep office hours? Are you expected to keep office hours? I still talk to pastors who get into trouble if they can't be found in their office between certain hours. In my 30 years I spent pastoring, that would be 5 different churches, not one of them did I ever keep office hours. Now, that's not to say that I was never in my office, but you couldn't count on finding me at the church at a specific time. Now, I've got to be honest, since Ellen and I were church planters, about half the time my office was in our home rather than at a church building. And there can be some real pros and cons to having your office in your home. And there are some real pros and cons to having your office at the church. Here are the pros. Having a church office helps separate the church from your family. This is already difficult enough for us to turn off the church and be present with our family. Having an office in your home can make this even more difficult. And if you don't have a secretary or an assistant, you are there to pick up the phone and answer the inquirer who wants to know your position on women in the ministry. Also, you're there to talk to that church member who drops by to tell you that he doesn't like your position of women in the ministry. Now, here are some cons. You're there to pick up the phone and answer the inquirer who wants to know your position on women in the ministry. Another con, you're there to talk to that church member who drops by to tell you that he doesn't like your position on women in the ministry. And you're at the beck and call of the phone, the drop-ins, and other interruptions and distractions. Now, I'm not suggesting that you never be at church, or that you never pick up the phone, or that you're never available for the drop-in who wants to talk to you about women in the ministry. What I'm suggesting is that you need to be the one who decides when you need to be in your office and when you don't. You need to be the one that decides that. Just because the pastor before you had office hours is not good enough reason for you to have them. Just because some of your members think you need to keep office hours is not a good enough reason for you to keep them. You need to be the one who decides if and when and why you're in your office. I really do think that this is part of a bigger problem. Some churches feel that the pastor should always be available to its members, and some pastors have embraced this expectation as well. I'm all for availability, but it needs to be on your terms, not someone else's. Is there somewhere more important for you to be than in your office? You decide that. If there is something more important for you to be doing than picking up the phone, you decide that. If that church member who knocks on your door, the one who talks to you about women in the ministry, is interrupting your sermon time, you need to be able to guard that time and make other arrangements for that conversation. We need to rethink this whole idea of keeping office hours. This is Dave Jacobs of Small Church Pastor. Thanks for checking in. Hit that subscribe button and the like button and visit my website for more good stuff, www.smallchurchpastor.com. God bless you.